Welcome in. You're tuned to another edition of the Kelly Wells Show. I'm Andrew Joyce. We talk all things U-Pike basketball. And tonight, special guest on the program, former Kentucky Mr. Basketball from 2010, Elisha Justice in a player spotlight from the women's side, Kayla Stamper. She's a record-setting player from Wolfe County High School and a key member of the University of Pikeville women's program. Also, we'll talk U-Pike women. They're 3 out of their last 4. Got a little win streak rolling. And we'll talk with assistant coach Taryn Duncan tonight. Rejoined now by our coach. He's the 2011 NAIA National Coach of the Year, 2-time Kentucky High School Coach of the Year, Sweet 16 Championship Coach, and NAIA National Championship Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, our coach of the University of Pikeville Bears, Kelly Wells. Coach, welcome back in.
Thank you. Good to be here. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about on both sides, the men's and the women's. Got a lot of great things going on. Finals week are right around the corner, so a lot of good stuff happening in our program for sure.
As we tape last day of classes, and I know students look forward to that each semester, but finals still ahead, so we will talk about that a little bit tonight. Last week on the recruiting trail, and Ty Compton, assistant coach, filled in admirably, I must say. He did a great job, but we do have a lot to talk about tonight, including a couple of wins. Shawnee State and Rio Grande, 2 games from the Mid-South Conference. Regardless of who the opponents are, when you go to the Mid-South Conference games, you know you've got a battle, and your team had a battle in both of those games. One at least, not a thing of beauty, but still a W. And let's talk about those 2 games.
Yeah, not the cleanest 2 performances we've had by any stretch, but to get 2 double-figure wins at home against teams in the conference were both successful stories. I mean, it takes a lot to get wins in our league, and it's hard to not appreciate those. So we want to celebrate those wins when you get them. It wasn't perfect, and it's things we've got to work on. For whatever reason, we're not playing super at the beginning of games for whatever reason it is. I think it's a level of confidence that we have, which is a good thing, but it almost leads to the wrong side of things, almost being too, I guess cocky would be the word for it in some ways, and thinking that our talents will just overcome anything. And we've got to learn to play 40 minutes. And when we get to that point, we'll be very, very special. But to get double-figure wins and not play well, it's hard for a coach to complain too much.
You can't complain a lot when you get a 19-point win and another win that's 15-plus. And we still forget, one of those wins, the 10th of the season for the Bears, came in the month of November. 11-1, 4-1 in the conference, and just finished the month of November. How close is this team to where you want it to be in March, that many games in?
Well, we're a third of the way in our season, but we're nowhere close to where we think our final product's going to be. Now, we've had some great moments. We've had some great individual performances. We've had some segments of great team play, but we're not anywhere close to where our final product needs to be. And that, like we've talked before, it's going to be a transformation of our team, and we've still got guys that are injured, that are out. We still have some guys coming in at the break. So it's going to continue to be a transformation for our guys and our team as well. But I certainly like our group. I like what we're about. And I think the new pieces will just make us even stronger.
Of course, you talk about newcomers coming in, the injury bug, it's been there through the first third of the season. How do you like the chemistry? Maybe not the on-court play. We know that that's a work in progress, working toward the first week of March. But the chemistry in the locker room, how do these guys get along off the court? Is that where you expect it to be this far in?
Well, I think with the adversity that we've had to endure at this point, you would have already seen if we had bad chemistry. I mean, it would have revealed itself in my time of being gone, my absence, some of our injuries. You would have already seen it. It had been blatantly obvious. But the guys have held together strong. It's hard to bellyache about being 11-1. We talk about how poorly we're playing. There'd be probably 300 other schools in the country would love to be playing as poorly as we're playing right now. So, rankings will come out tonight. Hopefully we'll be in the top 5, top 6 in the country. So we're not going to complain about that. But our chemistry is exceptional. I think our guys really like each other. The play is going to come when we learn to guard better. I think one of our areas of weakness is our defensive ability in the half court. We've got to get better at that. And most of that's willpower than it is anything, and I think our guys will understand that that's a key element for us.
We'll take a look at some highlights tonight from last week's win over Rio Grande. We'll see some highlights, some good plays as well. 14 of the nation's rankings, the Bears are in the top 10. how can a coach sandbag? You sound a little like Lou Holtz at times because talking about how poor play's been, but 14 categories in the top 10 in the country.
Yeah, I don't ever want it to sound like I'm not appreciative of winning.
Sure.
I want to celebrate that with our guys, but at the same moment, I don't want them to relax and think that's as good as we can be, because that's inaccurate. I think we've got a very high ceiling with this group, and I want us to achieve, and I don't ever want it to be said that we underachieved.
Right.
And I want to continue to push them. I want to hug their neck when their neck needs hugged, but kick them in the tail when their tail needs kicked. And there's some categories we can get better at. Just saying we're in 14 categories in the top 10 is not good enough. We want to be number one at the end of this, and we've got to keep them humble and hungry.
Talking about Shawnee State University and Rio Grande, two opponents that come in with experienced players, maybe not the most talented teams in the league, but certainly teams that can win on any given night. How much do those type of teams force teams to play ugly, to play out of their style?
Well, I think there's some of that. I think those are probably the two hardest playing teams in our league. I think they both really get after it, and there's just no such thing as winning pretty versus either one of those. Sure. I think UVA Wise is one of those teams that you have to play that way with too. And I don't have a secret for it. We've been here long enough. We should have a secret for it, but we don't. And we just have to keep playing to win. And we've been able to do that for the majority of the time. And it may not be pretty, but at the end of the day, it's a win, and that's what we can build from.
W's are always pretty.
I like them a lot better than the learning experience.
11-1, 4-1 in the Mid-South Conference. He's our coach, Kelly Wells. We're glad to have him back on this edition of the Kelly Wells Show. Tonight, we'll take a look at highlights from the win over Rio Grande. We'll, of course, preview the next opponent for the Bears, Life University, coming up the 15th. We'll talk about a women's event coming up this weekend at the U-Pike Gym on the lower campus. We'll talk with U-Pike women's assistant coach Taryn Duncan. In the player spotlight, Kayla Stamper, and from the men's side, Elisha Justice. A lot of folks in our area, of course, big fans of Elisha from his days at Shelby Valley, bringing a state championship to the mountains. It's all coming up on this edition of the Kelly Wells Show. When we come back, we'll take a look at highlights. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back into the Kelly Wells Show. We talk all things U-Pike basketball, and the Bears coming off back-to-back Mid-South Conference wins over Shawnee State University and Rio Grande. Now standing 11-1 and 4-1 in the Mid-South Conference. And, of course, the Bears, with those wins, they've got a couple of weeks off. Life University on the 15th, the next game at the Expo Center, and breakfast with the Bears, we'll call it, 11 a.m. tip-off. We look forward to that. Before we can look forward to that and talk about scouting, let's take a look at the highlights from Rio Grande.
Let's do it.
I think we'll get started. We'll see a guy we're used to scoring.
Here's one of our nice sets. We try to get Trevor open on the free throw line extended. You'll see Paul Pierce run this with the Celtics quite a bit, and Trevor does a great job on that mid-range, getting shots off. He's tremendous. And
he's long range. He can do it from mid-range as well.
An out-of-bounds play here to Brandon Green, executed perfectly for a layup. Off the square here, Brandon with a great rebound and outlet here, and this is where we're at our best in transition. And CJ does a great job here finding Darnell, who makes a great move to the rim. Big time finish on the basket.
Boy, he finishes well. Just get him the ball.
Here's Chris Johnson. Again, we try to create offense off our defense, and Deuce makes a great outlet pass to CJ, who gets to the rim for an easy basket. And that's when we're really good in our transition. Here's a set we run in the half court with some ball screen action, and Jamar Briscoe getting in the mid-range. And, if you give him space, he's going to make it. You might as well just count those points in the basket. And here's Little Witt getting out. Same thing, you notice the theme here, creating offense from our defense. CJ finding another person open. Josh Witt gets a nice layup here at the buzzer here.
Yeah, we'll get a second look at it.
A little slow-mo action.
It's really hard to imagine too many guards that can match the speed of the Bears when they get out into.
You notice something we don't like here, the score at halftime here. We're down 6 points coming in second half, but we certainly picked it up with some of this play. Brandon with a great rebound. Josh getting out with an extremely tough finish right here, getting an and one to get us going in the second half.
Really looking to score more this year than we've seen in the past.
Yes, he is. He's doing a lot better. Here's one of our half-court sets we call Zipper, and we did a great job of getting the ball to the high post, and Trevor makes another outstanding pass here, and Brandon should have taken him to lunch after this game. He got him a lot of nice, easy baskets around the rim.
He did. This is a great passing team. Trevor, Johnson, Briscoe, Whitaker, we've already seen, and here's another one.
Here's another one getting Brandon Green with a great up and under. Got an and one here, and well, actually didn't call it, but got a foul on that. But he did a great job of finishing. And Josh with great vision finds him open underneath here, and great up and under. Good move, post move.
Threaded the needle, and then Brandon Green, he's been so solid all season, playing a little undersized.
Yeah, he has to man that post for us. Here's another half-court ball screen set that we run, and Josh Whitaker doing a much better job, especially in the second half of this game, looking to score the ball. There's another mid-range jump shot by him.
They collapsed on Green. Whitaker, a lot of confidence. He looks to score.
Yeah, here's another great drive by Trevor, who's really expanded his game. Used to be just a set shooter from the three. Now he's shot faking, getting to the mid-range and finishing, which was tremendous. And another great offensive set for us, sharing the basketball. And Chris Johnson right there. And a lot of times he doesn't shoot that three, but he doesn't have to for us a lot, but he certainly knocked it down there.
Doesn't even look for it often.
Here's another half-court set for us to get Big Terrence a basket. And this was actually the difference in the game right here towards the end. We really pounded the ball inside of Terrence, and he had 11 points, and just did a tremendous job down the stretch for us to pull that win out.
Really tough to handle, and then he's got that little hook shot that seems to be almost unstoppable.
Well, with his knee, he's going to have to be a little bit more creative and crafty than he used to be, and he can use his left hand, he can use his right hand around the basket, and we're perfectly fine with him shooting those little baby hook shots in there.
Won't get any better, but he does seem to be in a little better condition.
Well, that's where he'll get better. You know,
Yes.
he'll build some strength up in that leg, and he'll be more confident. He'll be a little more agile. But an ACL is not going to heal by itself. He's going to have surgery eventually to get that to heal. But his movement, his progress is certainly where we'd hoped it to be.
Coach, when I'm stopped on the street, no matter where I am, folks will ask me about Terrence Santel. They've been looking forward to seeing him play, and I'm like, he's about as good as he's going to get. It's an ACL tear. It's not going to heal itself until after the season when he has some surgery. I'm also asked about Elisha Justice. He's our guest tonight in the Bears Den from the men's side, and a lot of folks locally excited when Elisha made the announcement he was coming home, and that started the excitement around the program. How close is Elisha?
Well, he's closer than he was. He's certainly a tough kid, and he'll be able to share some of his story with you when he gets on. And it's just going to be a process for him. Elijah's going to do all the things we ask him to do. He's going to work hard. He's going to rehab. His knees just got to cooperate with him.
Right.
And when we get to the point where his knee cooperates with him, then we'll put him out there. And until that knee starts cooperating, we're not going to do it. And,
no need to rush it.
He's much more important to us in the program than just throwing him to the wolves out there. And the great thing, he's never used a redshirt year. We've got that option as well. And we're not going to rush him. You know, when he's ready to play, and we pack his jersey every night, just hoping that he'll feel better. But until he's ready, we're not going to rush him.
What does he add to this team before he's even stepped on the floor with leadership, with his presence in the locker room?
Well, he's a high-character young man. I mean, everything he does is of high character, and he's going to do the right things. His leadership's tremendous, and I know he gets discouraged, and he wants to be out there with his teammates. He wants to be playing, as does his head coach. Really wants him to be out there playing too. And we love him dearly. We want him to be there. But again, his leg's got to cooperate with him. But the things he adds, the value to our program, the value to our school, value to our community is tremendous, and we won't hang on to him as long as we can.
Guarantee it. Kelly Wells, the Bears now 11-1 and 4-1 in the Mid-South Conference. We'll take a look at a scouting report on Life University. That's the next opponent for the Bears, December 15th. You can enjoy breakfast with the Bears, as that's an 11 a.m. tip-off when the Bears come out of finals, and look forward to that matchup. Coming up a little later, we'll talk with Elisha Justice, of course, the transfer from the University of Louisville, state champion at Shelby Valley, Kentucky's Mr. Basketball. He's the pride of the mountains, and he'll be in the spotlight from the men's side. When we come back, we'll talk U-Pike women's basketball. They have won 3 of their last 4, coming off some great performances. This is a team that has some momentum. We'll talk with assistant coach Taryn Duncan. When we come back, the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. The Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce. As we talk U-Pike basketball. Of course, the men's program 11-1 and 4-1 in the conference, and we also talk about the U-Pike women's program. Joined by assistant coach Taryn Duncan now, and Coach, 3 out of 4. Got to be a great atmosphere to be around the women's program right now.
It is. The girls are working extremely hard in practice, and it's just good for it to be able to pay off with wins.
Of course, that first win came November 20th, a win over UVA Wise. How big was it for this team to get that win and get that monkey off the back?
It was huge. Not only was it the first win of the season, but it was a conference win. And for the girls to be able to play a double overtime game and know that they can pull one out when it's that close was huge for their confidence.
And then, of course, not just that, you go on the road, you get a win over Alice Lloyd. It's always a great rivalry. 2 very close teams in proximity. But then you've got the number 2 team in the country coming in, and you've got back-to-back wins, number 2s in town, Shawnee State, and you push them to the limit.
We did. The coaching staff worked hard on getting a scouting report together. We went over it in practice for the week, and the girls really focused on what we needed to do in that scouting report, and we came out and we executed. Down at the end of the game, they just kind of overpowered us inside, but you can't fault our effort. They played really hard. That was just a great team.
Yeah, a very, very good team, and of course, the confidence your team has after those first 2 wins with Shawnee. Did they believe they could win before that game even got there?
I think so. We showed some tape on them. So we showed them some of their weaknesses and what we could take advantage of, and I think they really are buying into what we're doing, and I think their confidence is very high right now.
84-79 win over Rio Grande last Saturday, and it was a game that we saw the freshman Peyton Wright with a double-double, 16 points, 10 boards. Kalisha Johnson with 16 points also in the win. Good performances, and then you've got some more experienced players as well, contributing, some not really scoring like we've expected thus far, but the newcomers to the team, they're picking up the scoring slack. This is a team that goes very, very deep and can be led in scoring by anyone any given night.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about our team. We have different people that can score on any given night. I think we have one person in double figures. We have 3 or 4 that are around 9.5.
Sure.
3 or 4 that are averaging about 8 a game. So we have anybody can step it up and score 20 any night.
Absolutely. And our guest tonight in the U-Pike women's spotlight, Kayla Stamper. She's a rebounding force.
She is.
And really not one of the bigger players in the conference, but positions very well. Uses her body well, and positioning, obviously, I think over 1,500 rebounds maybe in her high school career. She knows how to rebound, and she's brought that to the college game as well.
Yeah, she's definitely undersized for her position, especially in our league. But she is just a player that finds the basketball. She knows how to read how it's coming off the rim, and she just goes up and gets it.
Grit and determination.
For sure, yeah.
Absolutely. That's Kayla Stamper. She'll be in the spotlight as we come back. Of course, we talk about the U-Pike women coming up this weekend. Morris College. That's Friday night at 7 at the U-Pike Gym on the lower campus, not at the Expo Center. Then Saturday afternoon at 2 with Virginia Intermont, and a special time. The U-Pike women heavily involved in community service, and again this year helping out Judy's Place for Kids, of course, helping out with those in need. That's been part of what the U-Pike program does. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, anybody that comes to the game and brings a stuffed animal for a child or a child-sized blanket, get in free. This is something that we've done the past couple of years, and we take the proceeds from that up to Judy's Place, and those kids, they really appreciate anything that they get.
Of course, Judy's Place for Kids, it helps kids who have suffered from abuse, and it's a great organization helping out in a time of need for children, and the U-Pike women involved with that as well. Morris College, Virginia Intermont. What do you know about the 2 opponents?
Morris College is out of South Carolina. They're a very athletic team. They're going to be up and down. They're not one of the stronger teams that we've played, but we have to come out and be ready to play and get a win on Friday. And then on Saturday is a team who's beaten us this year at their place on the road. So we know what to expect. They're athletic. They rebound it well. They like to get up and down. So we have to be ready to run with them and box out.
How big of a difference is it to play at the gym as opposed to the Expo where the games have been so far?
It's different. A couple of the new girls have never played in there before, so it's going to be a different experience. The last few times we played in there, the last couple of years, we've shot it really well in there. Yeah. So hopefully we can continue to do that this weekend. Got
to think so. Of course, the U-Pike Gym Friday night at 7, Saturday at 2. Check out the U-Pike women as they look to pick up a couple of wins, and 3 out of 4 the last 4 times out. Let's make it about 5 out of 6. How about that?
Sounds good.
Next time we talk, we'll be talking about that. Taryn Duncan, assistant coach with the U-Pike women's program. When we come back, we'll step into the player spotlight from the women's program. Kayla Stamper next. It's the Kelly Wells Show. We talk U-Pike basketball, men and women. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk about U-Pike basketball, the men's program, 11-1, 4-1 in the Mid-South Conference, and the U-Pike women snapped a long losing streak, now winners of 3 of 4. And we step into the U-Pike women's spotlight now, joined by a 5'10 junior, Kayla Stamper out of Wolfe County High School. Welcome to the Kelly Wells Show.
Thanks for having me.
Kayla Stamper, an All-Stater, the only All-Stater ever at Wolfe County. That's got to be something you're very proud of. We'll talk more about your background and your playing days, but first, let's talk about the student, Kayla Stamper. Student athlete, what's your major? What are your plans when you graduate?
I'm double majored right now in business management and sports management, and hopefully one day I'll be the next Aaron Andrews, so hopefully you'll see me doing this one day.
Very good. We could always use a sports chick at East Kentucky Broadcasting. Yep. Kayla Stamper, sports management. That's new to the University of Pikeville, and of course a master's program coming as well. Any thoughts of continuing your education?
Yeah, as soon as I graduate, I'm going to apply to the master's program, and I have a good feeling I'm going to get in. So, yeah. Yep.
And what would you like to do with that? Besides Aaron Andrews' job.
Hopefully take that career and just do something in the sports field. Sports has always been a passion of mine, and I don't ever want to leave that career, so hopefully do something like that.
Let's talk about that. A lot of college athletes, they have played sports much of their life. They start very young. Let's talk about when you began playing organized sports.
I started when I was in kindergarten.
That young?
Yeah, that young.
And what sports did you play growing up?
I just played basketball, yeah. And Dad coached me all the way till I was in high school, and then kind of just took to the side and just kind of watched.
And were you always one of the standouts? An All-Stater at Wolfe County, we can call you a standout. Were you always that case?
I wouldn't say that, but I don't know. I just play hard and do what I'm asked, and I just let everything else fall in place.
We've got to talk about scoring over 1,600 points in your high school career, over 1,500 rebounds. Those are huge numbers, regardless where you play, what district, what level, whether you're on a men's team or a women's team. Those are things that are still records at Wolfe County. What does that mean to Kayla Stamper?
It means a lot. I don't know. I just, like I said, I worked hard, and I just have to thank everyone that's helped me along the way. You know, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's his accomplishment, I guess.
Your dad coached you all the way up till high school. Mm-hmm. How important is that relationship?
He's probably my coach, my best friend, and he's definitely my biggest fan. So he has helped a lot.
What about now? When Kayla Stamper has a bad game, what does old coach, what does Dad have as words of advice?
He's usually the first one I call, and you know, he just kind of toughs it out. He's heard a lot of bad things and a lot of good things, so he just kind of deals with it and goes on.
So he's your place to blow off steam.
He is.
Absolutely, and we need those support people. Let's talk about the U-Pike women. 3 of 4 wins. Mm-hmm. You were a part of the losing streak, and you've had some injuries. We'll talk about those as well. But you've been around the program through a long losing streak. First of all, how much does that wear on a team, realizing that maybe there was a game that we should have won and we let get away from us? How much does that wear on a team negatively?
I mean, it wears on a lot, you know. People kind of dwell on it, but, you know, the good thing about it now, we don't have to worry about that. We're doing good. The momentum's good. Players are, you know, playing hard, and we're in a good spot right now.
What's the mindset of the team right now?
Chemistry is completely awesome. it's completely different from last year and this year. You know, people practice hard. I mean, everyone goes there every day with a mindset, we're going to win. You know, it's nothing like it was last year.
3 out of 4, and it certainly got to be a better atmosphere in practice as well. Have you seen a difference in your teammates in practice since winning the 3 out of 4?
Yeah, everyone goes after everyone like, you know, it's their last game. I've never seen a team practice so hard. I mean, we absolutely get after each other like no one else.
And you've still got some time to go. Let's talk about the injury, because you have battled some injuries over the course of the last year or so. Let's talk about that. And how healthy are you? Are you at 100% yet?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think so.
100% ready to go.
Ready to go.
Pure grit and determination, Kayla Stamper's game.
You got that right.
A little undersized, but if you need a rebound, that's the place right there. Kayla Stamper will go out and get it for you. Good luck this weekend. A couple of games. We want to invite people Friday night, 7 o'clock against Morris College, Saturday afternoon at 2 with Virginia Intermont. Come check out Kayla Stamper and the U-Pike women. 3 out of 4. We're going to pick up a couple of wins this weekend. Thanks for being a part of the show tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend and the rest of the way. Kayla Stamper in the U-Pike Women's Player Spotlight. When we come back, we'll talk about the men. We'll talk about a former Kentucky Mr. Basketball, Elisha Justice. In the Bears Spotlight, it's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in, the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk to you Pike basketball. I'm Andrew Joyce, joined now in the Bears Spotlight by the 2010 Kentucky Mr. Basketball, also Gatorade Player of the Year. He won consecutive All-A state titles and the 2010 Sweet 16 title, where he was the state tournament MVP. He's coming off a 2012 Final Four performance with the University of Louisville Cardinals, and now he's a member of our U-Pike Bears. Back home in the mountains once again, ladies and gentlemen, Elisha Justice. Elisha, welcome in.
I appreciate it. Just glad to be here.
We've been talking for a while. I think you may have been an 8th grader when we actually first went on air together, so it seems like old times.
Yeah, I mean, we used to playing in the region tournament up here, and, you know, that was a great start getting to come up, you know, as 8th grade and just getting that experience and, you know, playing at the high school level.
We're going to talk about, of course, that. We're going to talk about how much less gray hair I had the first time that you and I talked, because it seems like it's been forever ago. But let's talk about Elisha Justice, the student. What's your academic major? What do you plan to do with that in the future?
I'm majoring in business administration right now, and I'm really not positive what I want to do after I graduate yet.
Still got some basketball left in you?
I'm hoping.
There you go. Elisha Justice, of course, a lot of folks surprised that Elisha Justice decided to leave the University of Louisville. We know that playing for Rick Pitino, you and I talked during your high school days when you were talking about your college decision and how you had locked in. You wanted to play for Coach Pitino. You made the decision to come home. And we've heard the story, but there are people tuned in that haven't heard the story. Why does Elisha Justice come back to Pikeville?
Like you said, you know, just going up to Louisville and playing for Rick Pitino, you know, that was kind of a dream of mine, and I feel like it was a great experience for me. And, you know, the way that I feel like there's more important things in life than just basketball. And, you know, and I got up there, and, you know, I have a real close family and my church, real close to my church and everything. And, you know, and I got up there, and I never got to see anyone. I never got to come home. Sure. And, you know, that was kind of hard for me. But when my papa got real sick, you know, that kind of made me start thinking about things a little differently. And I just felt like it was more important for me to come back here and just to be with him for the next 2 years and just play in front of my community, come back home and play for a great coach like Kelly Wells.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Kelly Wells, I know, happy to have a person of such great character as a part of the team as well. because we have been around since your 8th grade year, and we've been around you, and truly one with great character. How did your family respond to your decision?
Everyone was just thrilled that I decided to come back, and I think a lot of people, they didn't really know, they didn't understand, and I think a lot of people got hurt at me for leaving Louisville, and just because they felt like that was a great opportunity and everything. But my family, they know the situation, and they know what I felt was important, and everyone seemed to be really happy about it.
Of course, UPike goes to Louisville back on the 1st of November and in exhibition action, and Final Four rings handed out. Elisha Justice there with UPike, and coming off the 2012 Final Four, it was a great moment because Coach Pitino presented you your Final Four ring prior to that exhibition game. What were your feelings when Coach Pitino handed you the ring, and then the response of the crowd there at the Center?
Yeah, that was just an unbelievable feeling. I didn't quite expect it to be like that, I guess. And after he gave me the ring, and to see all the fans, just cheering for me like that, to know that they appreciated me being there, and really made me feel like I was a part of that Final Four team. And just to get to see all the guys that I've been playing with the last 2 years, it was a great experience.
I understand it was the first visiting player ever to get a standing ovation in the Center, and it may very well be the last.
Yeah, I can see that.
Elisha Justice, of course, your Louisville teammates also come out individually, hugs. Louisville and your teammates, they fell in love with Elisha Justice. You became a favorite of that team. How do you explain that?
I mean, I got real close to, a lot of the guys on the team. I mean, we were pretty much together all the time. You didn't do anything else. It was basketball all day long. That's all we did. So, we were constantly around each other, and, I got to make some really good friends, and so it was just great, getting to be back there and to see all of them.
What about the Louisville fans? They fell in love with Elisha Justice. I saw it with my own eyes. They gave you a standing ovation, someone who had left their program, but they had so much appreciation for you and your time at Louisville that they responded in that way. What do you think that can be attributed to?
I think they all pretty much knew the situation and why I was leaving. I know a lot of people, they always told me that they felt like I should have played more, but I had a rough run with injuries up there.
Sure.
And that hurts. If you don't get to practice, you miss out on a lot and you fall behind. You really do. And so it's hard to just come back after an injury like that and be able to just step right back in right where you left off, but yeah, like the fans were great, and I feel like they really just appreciated my time at the University of Louisville.
Any regrets for going there?
No, I don't regret it at all. I feel like it was a great experience, and I'm glad I went, but I'm happy to be home.
Coming home, of course, a natural thought, the University of Pikeville. I know you and Kelly Wells have a great relationship as well, going back to your days prior to going to Louisville. A great respect for one another. Was there any other decision to make other than, I'm leaving Louisville, I want to get closer to home, I'm going to the University of Pikeville, and how did he react at that first phone call?
Yeah, there wasn't any other options, when I decided to leave, it was just to go to Pikeville, to, be back here, play for Coach Kelly Wells, and, to be around my family, and a lot of it, I know, like, Coach's values, and me and him believe a lot alike, and, just being able to go to church, on Sundays, and, that's a big part of Coach's life, just like mine, and, that makes me feel a whole lot better, just playing for somebody like that.
How did he react when you made that call?
He seemed to be pretty happy about it.
Guarantee it. It's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk UPike basketball, and joined now in the Bears Spotlight, Elisha Justice, 2010 Kentucky Mr. Basketball state champion at Shelby Valley. Elisha, you talked about realizing at Louisville that there were things more important in life than basketball. And I know you're so well spoken. You've had opportunities to be in schools speaking, and you also travel to some churches and you do some speaking as well. Let's talk about some of those things that are more important than basketball to Elisha Justice and to a lot of people out there. Let's talk about maybe a brief message of what Elisha Justice has when he visits those places.
Yeah, I just try to, tell some of these young kids, when I go to these different FCA groups maybe and speak, or to these youth groups, and try to let them understand that, putting God first in your life is the most important thing. And for me, it was always like, as long as I put Him first, it seemed like everything else just kind of fell into place. And so, that's my whole thing, just trying to get them to understand that and to realize what's more important than just, living life.
Elisha Justice, you've been battling a knee injury. You were immobilized for a while. The brace is off. We asked Kelly Wells this question. Let's ask you, how close are you to returning?
I feel like I'm getting a lot closer. It's just really weak right now, and I've just been trying to do the therapy, do my exercises to strengthen my knee, and and just do little workouts on the court. And I'm trying to get back into it, and I know that we can't go too fast,
sure,
without causing me to take another step back. So we just got to be patient with it and keep working, and I'm hoping to be out there soon.
We'll be patient alongside you, but we can't wait to see 22 back on the court.
I've been ready. I've been ready since the first game.
Elisha Justice, 2010 Kentucky Mr. Basketball. He's one of our Bears, and he's in the Bears spotlight tonight. Elisha, best of luck with the rehab on the knee. We can't wait to see you, and good luck in life.
I appreciate it.
He's one of our friends. We go way back with Elisha Justice from his days at Shelby Valley and now with the University of Pikeville. When we return, we'll be rejoined by Coach Kelly Wells. We'll take a look at the scouting report on Life University and talk about the schedule for the Bears. Classes wrapping up, finals ahead, and maybe a sneak peek at the next semester. The Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
Hi, I'm Elisha Justice, a transfer student here at the University of Pikeville. I will be a junior next year, and I'm majoring in business administration. I grew up right in Dorton, went to high school at Shelby Valley, and I'm a really big family person. Looking forward to be back home and be around all my family and all my friends, and to play basketball here at the University of Pikeville. I'm Elisha Justice. Join me at the University of Pikeville.
Welcome back in. The Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk U-Pike basketball, and great segments tonight talking U-Pike women. They've won 3 of 4. The men 11-1, 4-1 in the Mid-South Conference. And, of course, in the women's spotlight, Kayla Stamper, a great representative of the U-Pike women's program, and just finished with Elisha Justice. And those of us that have been around basketball, whether we saw Elisha at Shelby Valley during his playing career there, or since he's come back from the University of Louisville, just one of those guys that any coach in the country would want to be a part of their program. He is a great representative.
Well, you look at Kayla and you look at Elijah, either one, and they ask you why you get into coaching, and we all love basketball. That's obviously one of the reasons. But the reasons you stay in coaching are people like Kayla and Elijah, who just give you that hope and optimism that there is a lot of good out there, and you're making a difference with folks, and watching them make a difference with their teammates and in the community. You know what, it's a home run. That's why you keep coaching.
Absolutely. And, of course, we hear a lot of bad about the youth of our country. And I think anyone that's tuned in tonight, they've seen that there's a lot of good out there in our country as well, and part of it at the University of Pikeville.
They're not hanging around our kids, I can tell you that, because it's uplifting, it's rewarding, it's all those words. And then, just to have that opportunity, I feel very blessed every day.
It's absolutely one of my favorite parts of the Kelly Wells Show is get to talk to the players, because we get a little more in-depth into who they are, and to be able to draw that out and see the goals and the ambitions that they have. And it's not just about basketball. Elisha Justice, a star. He's a Kentucky Mr. Basketball. And so many players we've seen with the type of accolades that he's had would have a different type of attitude. And they may not be so fun to be around, such a pleasure, and their focus might be on basketball, but his certainly aren't. They're heavily rooted in what's most important, and that's his family and that's his faith, and I know that's important to the family at UPike.
It is, and you know, the things that are most valuable to us, Elijah represents those, and I can talk and I can give examples, but when their students and their friends show that leadership and that example, It really hits home to them, and you know, it's just those are the rewards, those are the bonus checks that we don't get payment for, but is the reasons we do what we do. And when you have that opportunity to be around it, and it's glaringly obvious how special they are, it's very rewarding.
And that's part of the reason we're proud to be a part of the UPike program, both men and women. It's quality people throughout the program, from the coaching staff down through everyone on the staff. It's a program to be proud of. Coach, we talk about classes. Classes wrapping up now on the UPike campus and finals coming up. What type of schedule will your team face now outside of studying, finals, but on the court, practice time? You've got a couple of weeks off from gameplay.
Well, the good part, we don't play till the 15th and the 17th, so that gives us a good span of trying to prepare. You know, getting healthy is part of this process, but the most important keys for us is to make sure that they achieve at a high level academically. So we're going to spend more time with study halls and trying to do homework sessions versus as much practice. Like yesterday and today, all we've done is individual work and lifting weights. And then we've been heavy on study halls. Actually, we just came from study hall to come over here. And those are the most important things, to get that extra time in, because we do miss some class because of games, being on the road. We try to make that up as best we can. We hate for them to be gone. But nonetheless, the finals are important. That's how they finish well, and getting that degree is most important to us. And some of our kids respond the exact way we want them to, and others have to be motivated and pushed. And this is that time to either push or to pat them on the back and see how well they're doing. But we're going to be a little bit lighter on practice and more so on studying. But days off, study days tomorrow, and we'll hit it hard tomorrow morning, and the weekends we'll hit it extremely hard, and then final days we try not to do any basketball stuff with the exception of maybe some individual weights and stuff of that nature.
There you go. That's a sneak peek at the schedule of the UPike players, as they have a couple of weeks off until Life University Finals week coming up, and of course preparing for those, and they are so very important. Coach, Life University, December 15th, the next time you're on the court, 11 a.m. tip-off at the Expo Center. Let's get a sneak scout of Life.
Well, we've had the opportunity to play them once. I didn't get to see it. I was one of my games I was ill, but the most talented team on paper that we've seen. They've got more talent than probably any team at any level. We've watched them since then a couple times, and they've played a different lineup each night, but they haven't got any less talented. They just are a very talented bunch. We were fortunate at their place to win in overtime on a late three by Deuce Briscoe, and we'll take it and we'll run home with it. But we're going to have to play better at our place. They'll be ready for some revenge, and they're a very nice basketball team. We'll have to play well. It'll be exciting. They get up and down. They're very long, transition oriented. So I mean, it's a 100+ point game that's probably potentially there.
12 games in, a third of the season, and it's been a little bit of a grind through the month of November. You get a little bit of a break now, coming off Thanksgiving break, and certainly the team would be rested. Would you rather have that amount of time leading up to a game that will be against such a quality opponent, or would you rather have maybe something to tune up prior to?
Well, historically, I like to have a few tune-ups going into games of that nature, but at the same time, the most important thing is for our guys to get their diplomas. Yeah, so I made the sacrifice of those kind of things to make sure that we got our grades in order. Christmas time is something is non-negotiable. We're going to give them opportunities to go home. We're going to give the coaching staff times to be with their families. That's A1A. That's most important. Winning basketball games will come with doing things the right way and practicing hard. So not ideal, but nonetheless, our guys are tough. They're very confident. They're a good bunch of guys. They'll prepare the right way, and we'll be okay. We'll sacrifice a few practice days, but we'll perform. I can promise you that.
Coach Kelly Wells, next in action against Life University, December 15th at the Expo Center. We want to see you there, out supporting the Bears. And then this weekend, Friday night, 7 o'clock tip-off, the UPike women take on Morris College at the UPike Gym on the lower campus, and then Saturday afternoon at 2 against Virginia Intermont. Check out the UPike women as they head towards finals, and the guys as well. Coach Kelly Wells, our pleasure again. Great to have you back from last week, and we'll look forward to our next edition.
Can't wait. Enjoy this as much as anything we do.
Coach Kelly Wells tonight. Also, on behalf of Kayla Stamper, Elisha Justice, Taryn Duncan, part of the show tonight, all the gang at Pike TV and East Kentucky Broadcasting, for Coach Kelly Wells, I'm Andrew Joyce. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.